Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. This is Venkat Nanduri. I am the Director for Phoenix Business Consulting India Private Limited. Thank you very much for joining the today's webinar. I will give you a brief introduction about Phoenix and then our speaker. Phoenix is a 20-year-old company based out of Houston, Texas, and we also have another office in Sarasota, Florida. And we have another office, India, Southeast Asia operations is in Hyderabad, Gachibowli. And we have we are SAP Gold partners and also SAP partnership in India. And we are pioneers in SAP by design implementations. We have more than 10 customers throughout the world from US and India, more than 10 customers on BYD. And I would like to introduce my colleague, Mr. Asif Raj, who is the veteran in by design. He started his career from the product development of by design, business by design from SAP Labs, and then he has 2 patents on his name, and he is a known person in the industry, and he is the architect for Phoenix. Been with Phoenix since last 3-4 years. And he worked in SAP Labs and the few organizations in US, and he joined Phoenix US and then relocated to Phoenix, India. He is available for all Indian customers who are implementing business by design. He will be the architect for their solution for any customer who is ready to implement business by design. And before Asif starts, we'd like to play some small video on how a small video on BYD.
SAP Business by Design, tailor-made cloud ERP for small and medium enterprises. Go live with standard modules and accelerators in 15 to 18 weeks. SAP Business by Design is the best of the breed cloud ERP software. Small and medium businesses can turn growth potential into real results. SAP Business by Design integrates HR, CRM, finance, procurement, supply chain, and more, giving you full visibility into every aspect of your organization. No on-premise setup with easy scalability, no hidden costs, and express setup. It means faster results and faster time to value, leading to reduced costs and quicker digitalization. Business ready. A case in point, Manacept, a professional IT services company, embraced SAP Business by Design to become intelligent enterprise. Phoenix Business Consulting successfully delivered the project with aggressive timelines with reduced implementation cost and to great client satisfaction. Phoenix has 20+ years expertise in SAP implementations. Clients benefit from streamlined, transparent, and well-connected processes, easy agility and adaptability, and instant value creation, improved profits and efficiency. Phoenix is the leading choice for fast-growing and ambitious small and mid-sized businesses across the globe. Join the lead.
Thank you, Sandeep. Over to you, Asif, for your presentation and the demo. So Asif will run you through the product details about the product overview, and also he will show you the same in the system, live system. I hope you will enjoy, and if you have any questions, please reserve till the end, and you can ask any number of questions to Asif and get clarified. Thank you very much to you all. for joining the today's webinar, and I request Asif to start.
Thank you, Venkat sir. Morning, everyone. Before we start, let me just have a quick poll on the current ERP environment that you're using, and you should be able to see a poll option now. We will give it 5 minutes and just select one option, please, everybody, and then we'll move on. Hello, everyone. A couple of people have raised their hands. I think I've allowed you to unmute. You can please unmute and ask the questions if you have any. Okay, I see that almost 60% of attendees have voted. If we could just get the few more votes in, we will move on with the presentation. I'll just give 1 more minute for this to be completed. Okay, I will end the voting now. So I think we have around 65% of attendees who have some sort of ERP, but they are not in cloud ERP. And the second highest, we have almost about 30% people who use cloud ERP, but not SAP Business by Design. Okay, and we have a small percentage of people who don't really have any ERP at present in their company. So, okay, I'm happy to address all their questions. And we end the polling now. Okay, and okay, and also you will before we start, I just want to point out that there is a Q&A section on the top of your screens. So if you have any questions, something, please write it down there, note it down there, and we will be happy to address it at the end of the meeting. Okay, okay. Here are the poll results that we received. Okay, let's get started with the presentation now. Okay, this is the SAP Business by Design cloud system. This is our Phoenix's system. So we have configured it according to how we use it, and I'd like to begin with saying that we drink our own cola. So we use SAP Business by Design for all the internal processes, internal ERP processes, internal customer invoicing, internal purchase orders, etc. for Phoenix as well. So we go ahead and market and sell and implement what we use ourselves. Okay, to begin by that. Now let's talk about a little bit about the budgets processes and their role in purchasing. Almost every company, every ERP company has purchases. Every company has a requirement to go ahead and provide a PO to buy office supplies, to buy services from external vendors, to renovate their offices, to run their business on a day-to-day basis. Okay, and with every such purchases, ideally what the companies, what they do is they assign a budget at the beginning of the year, and in most cases we assign a budget at the beginning of the year, and throughout the year we do it on an ad hoc basis. And we assign the budget by a company or by an office location or by a particular business unit or a cost center or profit center, stating that this particular cost center is going to run my office, and my office I'm going to have expenses on my day-to-day basis. Going to have stationary expenses. I'm going to have entertainment expenses. I'm going to have expenses for dinners and lunches and everything else that will be brought in. This will come under operational expenses for that office. Then let's say there's an office renovation that's going on. So I would have a budget specified for office renovation or another floor I have taken in the same building that I have, and I want to do the interiors of that particular floor. I would have a budget assigned for that. And based on that budget, I will make separate purchases to different vendors throughout the course of the year or throughout the course of a quarter. This is the most common scenario that we have when it comes to non-public sector businesses, commercial businesses. There are also cases when we are working on a large project from a particular customer, and as part of the project, we have to purchase certain hardware, we have to purchase certain software, we might even have to purchase You might even have to go ahead and get external consultants from a third-party service into our thing. So we have our overall project. We have our customer has defined an overall project for you to work on. As part of that project, you are making small purchases, and those purchases then again can go as part of a budget which is specific to that particular project. In by design, in now in it's happened in different, it's happened and it's handled in different ways in different ERP systems. In SAP, in core SAP R3 based systems, there is a huge budget module in itself that you can go and configure and assign that to various GL accounts, etc. In SAP Business by Design, what you can do is you can upload budgets per cost center and per within a cost center per GL account. However, that existing standard process does not really stop you from making the purchases. That is only an after effect. And once your year is over, then you can get a reports based on that, whether this was my actual budgeted numbers, but my spends are more than the budget or less than the budget. It does not really give a control kind of a thing. So that is where we saw the opportunity. We stepped in and we built a budgets module of our own that allows you to define budgets processes, define budgets number by cost centers, by companies, by GL accounts in case you're a public sector company, and include that budget or include that specific budget entity when you are making a purchase, and control your purchase processes, control your expenses, whether based on the fact whether you have the budget or not. Okay. Based on this premise, if this is my by design system, if you're familiar with this, and I will just give a brief introduction of by design because I see that a lot of people have some ERP or cloud ERP but not by design. So this is your it's a completely cloud-based system. It's a browser-based system that you will have access to. It is owned, managed, and hosted by SAP. SAP is responsible for making it, giving it to you. SAP is responsible for upgrading it. SAP is responsible to make sure that it stays up 99.96% of the times. That's part of the SLA. Okay. Once that's implemented, all you really access it using a browser. This is a browser that I'm running, and this is a URL, my351209.sapbydesign.com, etc., 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 which is used right now to access this particular system. Okay, I have, in short, I have various work centers, what I call it. And these work centers are basically groups of area specific processes that I can perform. So if I'm working in CRM, I will have work centers for sales orders, customer invoicing, account management, new business, etc. If I am working in analytics, I have work center called business analytics, business configuration, the initial insights, application user management. These are for system admin. Then I have for finance related areas called payables, receivables, liquidity management, payment management, etc. These are all standard work centers provided by the system, which are a part of the system where you can do your regular day-to-day ERP transactions. You can manage your company, you can manage the org structure, you can manage your invoices, you can manage your customers, you can manage your vendors, POs, suppliers, etc., etc., etc. Okay, we can do a detailed demo of by design also, but this is here we are going to be specific about how we maintain and manage budgets as part of the purchasing process. Okay, these are shortcuts that I have created on my launch screen so I can access these work centers quickly. Let me start with the budgets entity. Okay, once I create a new budget entity in the system, okay, sorry, let me open an existing one. Okay, this is my budget. This is my budget entity that I have defined. Okay, this is my budget key. Okay, PHX 06122020, and this entity basically signifies that I can make. I'm defining this budget entity against. I can define this against a particular purpose, against a particular project or a task that I'm going to undertake. I have my validity periods from 1 November 1st November to 31st December, and I can define this budget to be a part of the category. It's part of expenses, transport, or flight. I will just say this is my generic expenses. This should be ideally actually office expenses. Okay, and I have a fund and function as well additionally that I can use, but these are mostly used for public sector companies, so I will skip that part there. Okay, this is my generic information about the budget. These are my available funds in this budget. This budget is for the initial approval for this budget was for $30,000, and I still have all the funds. I haven't started using it, this fund at all in any of the situations. Now, once my initial part is done, then I will define what, if I have multiple companies, what cost centers can access this particular budget. Okay, so I have this table where I can go and add a particular company. Let me add a company. Let me add it for Phoenix, India. And let me add one more company. So this is for the standard or overall Phoenix. These are the two companies. So any purchases that these two companies make, okay, they can make use of this particular budget. Let me go over to the cost centers as well. And similarly, I can have another fine-tune control over this and say, I'm defined for the companies, but within companies, I have 10 cost centers, and I just want to use this budget for specific cost centers. So I want to use this just for by design cost center and nothing else. Only purchases made for by design will be able to use this budget. And if I'm a public sector company, I can go into further detail and have a very, very fine-tuned level of control for this budget. I can define what is called as GL aliases. Okay, and okay, let me add another row here. Okay, I think there is at the GL alias level, I can define general ledger accounts, GL aliases, what we call it in by design system, and use them to define my budget. So what happens is, let me close this, let me find one which has a, okay, I think there is something wrong. So, but the GL alias level, what happens is, I can define my budget at the GL level. I can define these GL accounts within this company can have can only have entries for $30,000, $40,000, $50,000, and so on and so forth. It cannot go beyond that. Okay, this is how my budget is configured. I have once I create a new budget. Let me start off let me show the process to define a new budget. Before I go there, a couple of more things I want to show that is part of the configuration for this particular budget. We have something called as a budget configuration. In the configuration, we can define threshold percentages and threshold amounts for this budget. So I can say, even though my overall budget is for $30,000, I would like my budgets to exceed. There are cases because of taxes, because of exchange rate variations, because of price fluctuations, your budget might go slightly bit over and above the actual approved amount. So at the base level, I can define that this budget can go over 10% of my actual configuration, or the $15,000 was a larger amount, which was for additional budgets, but I want to specify that to say $2,000 and say, go over the budget, but not more than 10% or $2,000, whichever is lesser than the actual fully approved amount. And these are deltas that we are going to scope for in the budget so that our processes can run smoothly. I can choose to I can define whenever I'm defining budget, I can choose that only certain products that I purchase should be a part of the budget. All the other products that I'm purchasing. So I can define my categories into two parts. I can define my CapEx and OpEx. These are the example services that I have created here. Every purchase I make for any of these services that belongs to these product category, or if it belongs to these products, should be part of the budget. They must not be purchased without attributing or without allocation or without provision in a budget which is approved by someone. And I can choose, I can say, choose product categories. I can have this button enabled. And if not, I can say, I can say, apply budget only for these product categories, or I can uncheck this button and say apply budget for every purchase that happens in my company. Every single purchase, every single product category, even it's a posted a pack of posted notes to a server, a hardware server, or an external service that I'm buying. Everything must be attributed to a budget. Okay. As part of the configuration, I can also specify budget category. These are the categories that you had shown. And this is master configuration that you need to do once in the system. Once that is done, you can forget about it and then move on with your day-to-day processes. Okay, let me close this. There is one more set of configuration that you need to do called as authorized users. Okay, so here you can see we have configured some users who are allowed to make changes to the budget, who are allowed to configure a budget, who are allowed to approve a budget, and who are allowed to revise and make changes to a particular budget. So we have the roles called finance managers, budget owner, and budget approvers. The finance manager is somebody who will who's your accounts manager, who will basically go in and receive information from business unit heads saying that we need a provision for a new budget. He'll go in and key in the value in the system, key in the budget value in the system. And once that is done, he will submit it for approval. The budget approver or the budget owner will have the rights to approve the budget, to maintain the budget. Once that budget is approved, then it can be used to make purchases. Okay, budget owner is the business unit head or the cost center head who will basically own that particular budget, who is going to make all the decisions with respect to that budget, who is going to make decisions regarding addition of new amounts or which POs should be allocated, which categories should be assigned to the budget. He is supposed to make all those decisions. Okay, so we have some users configured for each role. Okay, I will basically set up this user also. And this is user selection screen is very straightforward. You can define the ID of person, you can define the status, and I can set this up to be the budget approver. Okay, so okay, so now I have multiple users available. Asif Raj, that's the current logged in user. He is logged in as the finance manager. Mr. Krishnamurthy, he is logged in as the budget owner. Mr. Kushal Singari and Mr. Sandeep Mathur, they are the budget approvers in the system who will be able to approve budgets. So now that this configuration is done, let's go ahead and create a new budget entry in the system. Okay, in order to create a new budget entry, you must have access to this work center. You must also be a finance manager. Okay, so I'll go and create new, and I'll create a budget PHX. Let's create one for Q1 2021. I will call it as budget for 2021. I will set up the owner. The owner is basically from the budget owners list that we have defined authorized user earlier. We have only defined as one budget owner in the system, so we'll use that. It's valid from, I know that it's Q1, but my purchases have already begun. So I'm going to make it valid from 15th December onwards to March 31st. I'm just giving an additional 15 days so that I can plan ahead and I can already issue POs that are going to be required from 1st January onwards. I can define a budget category. These are actually my office expenses. Okay, I'll ignore the fund and function part of it. Now, this is a new budget entry, so I will be able to put in initial approved funds, let's say $25,000 in the system. Okay, and this system is configured in the for the US currency. So right now I'm using US currency, but this is currency independent. Whatever configuration you have put in, you can use that currency. That I don't think that's a problem. So I'm going to save this budget, and I will not define any companies or cost centers for now, because let's say let this budget be for every company that I have in the system. Okay, and once I've defined this, now my status is initial, I can't use it yet. This needs to be approved by a budget owner. So I will submit it for approval. My status is in approval. You can see everything is set to read only now, and I will just save it. Okay, I will log into another system as the budget owner. Allow me a minute. I'm just logging into the system via a different browser so that I can go ahead and approve this budget. And once I have access to budgets, I can go check in the pending approval list. So this is my budget ID for Q1 2021, which is still pending approval. Okay, so I'm just logged into the system again via a different browser. So my user sessions are separate. This login this is currently a login in progress, but this is logged in via Mr. Sandeep Mathur's login, who is an approver in the budget. Okay, and once he logs in, but default view is he's looking at everything that's approved. Let's go to pending approval, and okay, let me click on edit. Now, based on his role, you can see the submit for approval button is grayed out, and the approve button is enabled. So I'm just going to click on approve, and the budget is set to status approved and available. Now I can go ahead and use this budget when I make my purchases. Before we go there, just a minute, let me show one more process as part of this budget. And I can come in and say whatever is budget is my fully approved. This part is Q1 2021. This budget is fully approved. Now, in most cases, I will have something called as a budget revision request. Okay, so as part of the budget revision request, what happens is pretty straightforward by the name. I want to make modifications to an approval amount. I want to add additional funds to a budget or reduce funds to a budget, or whatever be the reason. Okay, so I will click on new and say, let's just go ahead and create a revise a budget. So this is a budget extension or a revision request. I have multiple, I can do multiple types of revisions here. One is the extension or revision of the existing budget amount. Another is the funds transfer between budgets. You have funds in one budget, you take it from there and assign it to another budget. You have third option is funds transfer between GL accounts. So within one budget, we saw that option, we could specify multiple GL accounts associated to a budget. Within that one budget itself, we should be able to transfer funds from one GL account to another GL account. Okay, so let's see the basic extension revision first, and I will choose the budget. This will only let me work on the budgets that are already approved and created. So my PHX Q1 2021, that's the budget for that we just created. 25, no, that's too much. So 5,000 for this launch date. Let's have some fun. Okay, so I'm giving another $5,000 for a party to be organized at the office level. Okay, and now because I'm the finance manager, I'm able to create a request and even submit this for approval. Okay, at this point of time, I have created a description. I can add an attachment. So if I have an approval email that I have received from my CEO, I can go in and attach that email here. So this revision request, ultimately what becomes is, this becomes an audit log, this becomes your compliance log of all changes, all requests that you have made to a budget. So you've defined a number, but it's not just as a that you can just, not a direct table entry that you could just go in and directly say, okay, initially it was 25,000, but let's just make it 30,000. We don't know why. Using this budget revision request process, you will be able to answer those questions. You will be able to give answers to your auditors to those questions, saying that these numbers were changed from 10,000 to 15,000 or from 15,000 to 12,000. Here are the reasons why. Here is the process that was followed. These are the records. Okay, you can add a comment here saying that approval received, approval, sorry, by the MD, email. Okay, you can add a comment, you can add attachments, you can do all these things basically. So at the end of the year, you know why you made a change and who you made a change to. Okay, so my status is still not started. I will submit it for approval. Okay, my requester is Asif Raj, that's me, and now this request is gone to in approval. Okay, and I will again go back to my different browser to Mr. Sandeep Mathur. He's an approver. He can go in and review. So let me go to revision requests, all revision requests pending approval. Okay, you can see that this request has come in, PHX Q1 2021-1. This is the request that I just initiated for approval. I will click on edit, and because he has the approver, he should be able to see two new buttons here called approve and reject. And I will say, okay, looks good, approve. Okay, my approval has been done by Mr. Sandeep Mathur. Okay, let's go and quickly take a look at the original entry in the system. Okay, this is my revision request. I'm done. Let's look at the budgets. Okay, you can see that now the approved funds have been updated to $30,000 and available funds are set to $30,000. We haven't really used it yet. Okay, the interesting thing is we should go to this particular tab called update history. The update history basically has an audit log of everything, all the actions that have been done on this particular entity. So right from the first day, the budget is began. It's submit for approval. This is the initial submission for approval. It was done by Asif Raj. It has an approval amount of this number. The initial amount was 0. Mr. Sandeep Mathur approved it. Then again, a revision request would come in when the available amount was 25,000. We made an approval, additional request of $5,000. It was approved by Mr. Sandeep Mathur, and so did. You can attach a description to it. You have the timelines, everything associated to it. You have complete history of what changes were made, who made the change. The entire changes are compliant. Entire process is recorded in the system, and these records are not going anywhere. They will be available to you forever, to show it to your auditors, to show it to your compliance inspectors that we are using the process as part of a fully compliant process. Okay, so here you see that my budget entry is available. I create my budget entry. Now let's go and create a purchase order. Okay. Purchase orders, this is the standard. Until now, what you've seen was part of the custom solution that is built by Phoenix. Now what you're going through is it's a mix of the standard solution provided by SAP product versus the it's the mix of the standard solution and a little bit of the custom process that we have put in versus the originally custom solution. Now, these are the screens that we have built using the SDK, but they look and feel exactly like the standard process driven by design. And unless we tell you, or unless you are aware of the backend, the end user will not be able to make any differentiation. So your look and feel, please don't think that because it's a custom, you have to do something else outside the system, or you have to do some more steps. Everything remains in the system. The entire look and feel, entire user experience stays exactly the same as if you were using a standard product. You will not be able to tell the difference unless you know from an internal system point of view that this particular functionality was built in new. Okay, going to the purchase orders, let me create a copy of this purchase orders. Okay. And I'm just using a copy function so that my data entry process is fast. I don't have to spend time on that. Okay, so this is a purchase that I'm making in the system. What I'm doing is I'm actually buying the services of a support consultant for about 80 additional hours at the price of what is the price? 160 or 60? Let me, at the price of $166.40 per hour. And this is this is an external purchase I'm making. Now, if you remember, as part of the original configuration, we have stated that everything must be part of a budget. So I will just simply click on save in this project. And okay, so I have created my PO. I have not ordered this yet. Let me go to view all. Okay, and this is, and you will see as part of the purchase orders, there's a tab called budget where you can go in and add your budget entries. So in the budget, the system will, based on the initial configuration that we did, based on the list of products and product categories we defined and we marked as requiring budget, we basically added this. It will show up an entry saying that this category requires a budget. It requires a budget entry which is not available yet. It's not consistent yet. You need to put in something before you can order it. Let's not put in budget entry and just save it and go ahead and order it. So ideally, this will throw up an error message saying that budget entries are not consistent, unable to order. Please check the budget tabs and ensure that your entry is available. The purchase that you're making must be provisioned from a budget entry. Okay, so and once this is a hard check that we have put in. We can configure this to either be a hard check or a soft check. The soft check, it will allow you to process the purchase order and it will allow you to go through and with this process, but you will be able to require a budget entry when you are processing the supplier invoice for this particular process. Okay, so now it does not let me. I will go ahead and I will choose a budget entry. We use this budget entry as operational budget for Q1 2021. Let me just choose this. Okay, and now you can see that as soon as I chose this, the consistency has already become consistent. So we should be good. I will simply click on save and click on order. Okay, that will allow the process to go through. Okay, and if I look at back my PO, my purchase order number 18, this is now sent to the supplier. This is approved, and this will now be processed. But what happened to the budget? So let's go back and take a look at the budget's entry again. Okay. Okay, this is my approved funds. This is my available funds. I should be able to see the transaction. Okay. I think there is a backend check that's still going on, so that's why I'm not able to see the transaction here. Once that backend process is complete, once the supplier invoicing is complete, based on that, it will, right now it has just provisioned the budget in this particular entry. Once that is completed, I will be able to see the funds reduced from this thing. Once this entry goes into the GL, I will be able to see those updates, and this will be a part of the reports. I think this should have been updated, but it's not. I'm sorry for that. Okay, but this is the budget module that we wanted to discuss about. I will end the demo here, and I will leave the floor open for questionings. Please put in your questions in the Q&A section of it, and I will start answering them as much as possible. Okay, I think I see some questions being come in there. So I have a question where the user can see the cost object in the release tab, fund center and commit item. Could you elaborate on that, Mr. Pratap, a little bit? Mr. Pratap, I've unmuted you.
Yeah,
Could you please?
fine. Yeah.
Can you hear me now?
Yeah, fine. Are you able to hear now?
Yes, sir.
Yeah.
Yes, sir. I can hear you. Go ahead,
Okay.
please.
See, whenever users get that budget error, okay, where they can see the fund center and cost center, so that they can provide the budget, right?
Right. So the cost centers will, the fund centers and cost centers will be a part of the original budget entry itself. See, you see the budget entity, there's a budget entity, right? When you create a new entity, at that point of time, you can go to the cost centers tab and add all the cost centers to a particular budget. Okay. Once this process is completed, we will provide additional reports on the system, and based on those reports, you will be able to see all the. Ideally, what we are saying is you should give one cost center itself to one budget entry. Later, when you do the reporting, you should be able to see all
No,
the total amount
sorry.
of money that has been allocated to a particular cost center or a fund center. But the configuration is where you would do in this particular screen, if you're able to see my screen.
No, that I agree. See, for example, when the user is going to capture this cost center, okay, system is going to check the budget based on the fund center, derivation rule.
Yeah.
But how either like a super user or someone will, because the accountant has to provide the budget, right? Because if the fund center is assigned more than one cost center, assume that, okay, whether the who are going to execute this PO creation, where they will see the which fund center commitment. If you go back to the either ECC or HANA system, so system can display the exact cost object. Correct.
I can show that. I can show that. So that will be a part of the purchase orders. When
Correct.
when creating the purchase orders, you have the purchasing unit defined here. Okay, and you have the company and bill too. So ideally, this is still a data at the top level, but when you go to items and when you go to account assignment, at the account assignment level, you will see the GL level assignment and the cost. You're doing a cost center level assignment. Okay, that is where you can see that the assignment to that particular budget. So now this budget is actually based on the previous configurations. This is going directly to a project task. I can change it and go send it to a cost center. Okay, and now my budget line item is assigned to a particular cost center called Phoenix US. Okay, in this case, my purchase order item is, the cost is going to a particular cost center Phoenix US. The budget will be picked up only, the budget will be picked up only when only for the budget keys where cost center 2000 is present if I'm doing a hard configuration.
Raj, sorry. See, again, I understood you're mapping the cost center here. If you see the, not in the portal, if you go back to the ECC system, so user can see the which fund center and commitment item where they're facing the budget issue, correct? But the user can view the same from the portal so that they can send the screenshot, or maybe they can send the appropriate cost object to the budget controller to enhance the budget.
Got it. You need the report which tells you how much funds are allocated to every cost center.
No, not separate report. No, not the same transaction. See, for example, user is going to create a PO. Assume that in the same screen, whatever you're displaying. Okay. So user selected the cost object, nothing but a GL cost center, and he is about to save the data. Okay. What system will do, if it is sufficient budget is available, so system will allow to save the purchase order. Correct.
Right.
Okay. If it is not there, so system is going to show the your error screen. The budget is not available, so and so. Correct.
Agreed.
Okay. In the same, in the same dashboard or the same screen where it is not available. For example, I'll tell you my case. There are 4 to 5 cost centers where I mapped into 2 different fund centers, and based on the different GLs. Correct. If you're able to go back to see the reports, again, it is difficult for the budget controller to check the which fund center. Correct.
Right.
Whether the user can see which fund center is populating, or it is checking the budget in the backend while performing or while saving this purchase order. User can see directly from the same transaction whatever you're showing.
So there are 2 challenges there. One, on a cloud system, we will go by the whatever permissions are given to the user. So right now my user is just a buyer. His only job is to come in and make the purchase in the system, make sure it goes to the right vendor, make sure it is allocated to the budget entry that he has been given. If in case he wants to see how much whether he has funds in the cost center or not, that information he will get as soon as when he wants to process the budget. Other than that, he will go and have to check we have to give him additional access to the budgets work center itself to be able to find out which cost center has funds or not. And because this is just a reading report. This is just ideally it should be just a report. We can give him link to a particular report, or we can give him an additional tab here. Because it's a custom object, we can make changes to it without going to SAP. We can make changes to it. So we can add an additional tab here where it will say, certain cost centers have certain funds or not. But really it depends from customer to customer. Some customers may not want to expose that particular information to the end user. Some customers may want to do it. So ideally, we would like to keep it separate than just the actual PO transaction. If he needs access to additional data, you would give him additional access where there's a process and he can go and run a report in one more click to see where funds are available and which cost center have funds and which cost centers do not, so that he can make appropriate requests to revise them.
Okay, I understand. Okay, it won't work as a similar backend, correct? I'll tell you my experience with what in my current organization. So whenever they're going to create a PO in the ECC or maybe HANA, so user can display the respective fund center and commitment item. Okay, that is option one. Option two, once they save, from the PO itself, they can derive they don't need to go to separate transaction. If you go to the header, and they can see the respective cost object where the budget has been consumed. See, technically, it may be cost center, but in the backend, it is going to consume the budget from the fund center, correct?
Agreed.
Okay. So
Agreed.
Okay.
So these are the differences. These are the differences between the EC system and the cloud system.
Agreed.
And this is simply how we choose to present the data to the end user. That's all there is. The data is there. Whether we want to give it to the end user or not, that's the question. And that will differ from customer to customer, implementation to implementation.
Okay.
But that's a great suggestion. Nonetheless, we will consider this, and we will basically try to add another screen to us, which can be accessible from the PO itself, where they can see this information.
Fine. Thanks, Raj.
Thank you, sir. Thank you, Mr. Pratap, for this question.
Thanks.
Okay, we have time for a couple more questions, gentlemen. So, ladies and gentlemen, please go ahead and post your questions in the Q&A tab.
Coming back to approvals, again, Raj Pratap here. Sorry, I don't know. Can I ask?
Sure.
Okay.
Yeah, please go ahead.
Okay. See, whatever the approvals you are putting here, that is nothing but PO approval, correct?
No. That is a budget level approval. That's separate from PO approvals.
Sorry, I missed that. Yeah. Okay.
The PO approvals will be, see, right now in my PO I don't have any approvals. Okay, so if I have approvals configured, when I click on order, this will go to status in approval, and then somebody would approve the PO. That there he will have a holistic view of whether that purchase order should go ahead or not. Whereas earlier when I did the budget approval, that was for whether how much money should be there in that particular budget, and whether how much money should be added or removed that budget. That budget can be used for any number of PO. So these are two separate approvals that we would like to keep in the system.
Okay.
They're not connected to each other.
Okay.
That's what I'm saying. Okay.
Yeah.
Did I answer your question?
Yes, Raj.
Okay. Thank you. Okay. Thank you, everybody. We will start. Basically, we will have just one more poll to end this meeting before we can end. I thank you all for your participation, and thank you all for your patience listening through this entire webinar. I believe we are recording this, so this will also be available this recorded link will also be available for you to view later. Okay. Let me run another poll. Okay. You should be able to see one more poll information on your top. If you could please provide your feedback in that will be of great help to us. Please enter the poll. Ladies and gentlemen, thank you so much for your participation today. We have the contact numbers and contact information available on the last slide. So in case you need to reach out to have this product available for your ERP systems, we'll be more than happy to have a discussion You can reach out to Mr. Venkat Nanduri, who is the director his phone number and email address are available there. You can reach out to Mr. Sandeep Mathur as well. He is a VP of Business Development. And you can reach out to me as well. My email address is out there in case you have any further questions or anything regarding by design in general or the budgets process in general. We'll be more than happy to take this forward. Okay, I think we're end of the 3-minute mark for the polling, so we can end it. Thank you everybody for your enthusiasm. I see that we have almost 75% of the information was completely new. So what I infer is we knew about the budgets, but how we use it by design, that's hopefully something new. We will continue to work on it. We will continue to make changes to it and improve it as much as possible and make it available as part of the SAP store, make it available as part of the standard by design solution. Thank you so much for your participation today.